Yeah, for sure. Every one of them, I think, is going down, but it didn't. So, all things considered, it's pretty good look. HB had a rebound and an opportunity to get behind the three-point line and give us one more shot, but that's just how the game goes. We've gotten away with some games that we probably shouldn't have won with shots like that, and tonight it wasn't our time. It wasn't our night.
So now they have to go 5-1 down the stretch to eclipse the Bulls' record of 72 wins in the 95-96 season. How about the Cavaliers in overtime? Check out the final.
Cavs 110, Hawks 108. Here comes Teague. 5 seconds left. Over the timeline he goes. He'll find Horford for a three. No, it's off the back iron, and this one is over. The Cavaliers hang on in overtime and win it by the final of 110-108.
LeBron James with 29 points in that victory. So they are now 54-22. Well, I set the table for you. At 6:09, it tips Nova taking on Oklahoma. The battle of number twos. Buddy Hield getting a ton of attention. The Oklahoma guard who's averaging 29 points a game. Then the late affair at 8:59. Syracuse, the Cinderella team in a sense, at number 10. And North Carolina, the favorite team to win it all, at number 1. That one goes down in Houston. North Carolina favored by 9.5 in that game. Kate Delaney, NBC Sports Radio.
This is KCAA.
Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478, or visit them on New York Street in Redlands off the I-10 and the Crosstown Freeway.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Do you have unfiled tax returns? The IRS wants to collect from you and will do whatever it takes to make sure they get the money you owe. They'll garnish your wages, levy your bank account, and lien your house. The IRS isn't going away. You can't ignore them. They will get their money. Call the Tax Alliance helpline now at 1-800-577-4621 for free info. The professionals at the Tax Alliance helpline will help you with your tax problems. Garnished wages, bank levies, and property liens can be stopped, but you have to call now. We have former IRS agents on staff who know the ins and outs of the system and how to make them work for you. Don't let back taxes on the IRS or state ruin your life. Call the Tax Alliance helpline now and let the experts fight for you. Get the info you need. Call 1-800-577-4621. That's 1-800-577-4621. 1-800-577-4621.
Kcaa.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising. DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising. 909-222-9293.
KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM is San Bernardino Strong.
Welcome to I'm Mad as Hell with Lloyd Brock and Greg Simpson. Now, if you want to share your anger, this is the station, KCAA, every Saturday at 12 noon. If you're mad as hell at the government, politicians, IRS, your bank, a car dealer, or the court system, let us know. You may want to be one of our in-studio guests, or just call in and vent that anger. 1-888-909-1050 or 909-888-5222 locally. We may not be able to resolve your individual problems, but we will give you a forum to share your anger with our listeners. Now, join us at KCAA 1050 AM and at kcaaradio.com or check us out at Ustream. Now, here's Lloyd and Greg.
Anymore.
No more.
No.
I hear a bear over there. Are you mad about
Yeah, I'm mad as hell about a lot of different things.
something? Yeah?
And
Anything in
we have a
particular?
guest that's going to be mad as hell in a minute.
Oh, all right. You
Yeah.
going to make him mad? You going to pinch him or what?
Lucas Cooney here is going to
Lucas
be
Cooney.
mad as hell, aren't you?
I might be slightly annoyed.
Slightly annoyed. You got to be mad as hell.
No, yeah, you got to be mad as hell.
Anyway,
This is the
today, starting off, I want to talk about Chicago.
show. Oh, okay.
And escalating violence there has reached a level not seen in many, many years. And that's a city that bans guns, you know. But it says in Chicago, in the first quarter of 2016 nears an end, violence in Chicago has reached levels unseen in years, putting the city on course to top 500 homicides for only the second time since 2008. Well, actually, it says as of Wednesday, at least 727 people have been shot. But see, not all of them died. So,
In a city without guns.
727 people, and they said that's up 73% rise from 422 a year ago. But this is really amazing because,
It is.
as they say, a city that bans the guns.
Yeah, it's no good guy shootings there. Those are all bad guys shooting us.
And they've changed administrators. I mean, as far as the commissioner goes of police, they've got a new one. And according to most of the recent numbers available, 60 people have been slain in New York through March 20th, down from 75 a year ago. And in Los Angeles, 67 homicides through March 26th. It's up 54%. And we're up, I think, in San Bernardino, too. Lucas he is more knowledgeable than that. What did we have this last year?
Just read we're up to 16 in the San Bernardino Sun.
That's small. That's minor compared to the rest of the
Yeah,
country.
big places that don't have guns. Yeah,
Any number, though, is too many.
that's right.
And this is ridiculous. Nobody seems to be doing things about it in Chicago, though.
No, that's
And they keep, that's Mr. Obama's hometown.
sure.
So, what are you mad as hell of, Greg?
Well, I'm mad as hell. This story really galls me because I believe that we should be informed correctly and with correct terminology. President Obama, they say, is so paranoid about linking terrorists to the Muslim faith that when French President François Hollande used the phrase Islamic terrorism at a meeting in Washington, White House officials posted their official press video with the audio of the words cut out completely.
They did. They edited.
This 8-minute clip was posted on the White House website and showed Hollande discussing the global terror threat at a nuclear security summit meeting with Obama and advisors Thursday.
Well, it's okay to edit your own stuff, but when you start editing
Other leaders, yeah. It says the White House transcript of the event shows the French leader declared at 4:49-minute mark that the roots of terrorism, Islamist terrorism, is in Syria and in Iraq. But after that, but rather than include Hollande's remark in its entirety, the Obama administration posted footage in which his interpreter's English translation of the words Islamist terrorism was missing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty nice.
Now, the audio gap, it said, was first reported by the Media Research Center, which is a media watchdog group. So we still have some of those, thank God.
That's going to extremes.
Yeah,
really.
it is. And then it said, after initially posting video without the edits, the White House took, this is really funny, the White House took it down, uploaded it again with the interpreter's voice muted, the MRC reported. The nonprofit group reported that the White House official MP3 recording of the meeting was also censored, but that the transcript was not. Thanks, of course, Ministry of Propaganda Office at White House for going ahead and simply posting the proof. That's what our user wrote.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know.
Well, I'd like to see what, hey, Lucas.
Yeah.
This is Lucas Cooney from Slate.
Yes.
And you're an expert in communications. Well, at least video.
Okay.
I try to be.
What did you think about that? Editing that portion of it. For, a foreign dignitary. I mean, it's all right for you to do that. I mean,
yeah, that's what you do. You make films potable and you edit.
Well,
of course, that may get into politics.
That's what I think.
You don't like politics at all.
One of my favorite books I read recently, or not too long ago, was by P.J. O'Rourke. I don't know if I can say the full title here, but it was
sure you can.
Don't vote; it only encourages the bastards.
Sure.
I thought after reading that, it gave a lot of insight, and so I think
I've got a friend that says the same thing. A very intelligent guy, probably the smartest guy I know.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't vote." He said, "Look, I'm not going to." And he said, "If everybody stops voting, they know that the system is."
Actually, his overall thesis was, we should start paying more attention to local stuff, and the national stuff is kind of, it is what it is, and we have a system now. Going into media and understanding it, there was a time when FCC required that news stations gave free airtime for news, and then once the news became for sale, and that's when we're in the issue we're in now. So we've got.
Yeah, but they give us the same old line. You hear it in national politics. You hear it on the local level. We're going to take care of this. We're going to concentrate on education, our roads, our structures, jobs. Yep. It's always the same BS, regardless of where you go, and everything stays the same. So we've got to find somebody that's going to change all that.
Vote Bernie.
Vote for you.
Vote for Bernie.
Well, like this one guy said, he said, "My friends." He said, "I call you my friends because I know who my friends are, and they're the ones that pay me.
Yeah.
And I'm a politician. I'm for sale.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that I'm for sale. Anything you want, you can have."
That'll do
now,
it.
if they'd come out there and do something like that, that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's going to do it?
Well, I get leery anytime somebody gets into the race and says, "I'm not a politician." Well, as soon as you started running for office, that basically made you a politician. So
right.
Hillary said that. She said, "I'm not a professional politician."
That's what she
said.
said.
That's 2 weeks ago.
And Trump's been a politician his whole life. So
Yeah.
for him to tell us that he's not is. Come on.
True. Well, lies. When are you going to stop telling lies?
Yeah. So
And after the commercial we're going to play in a minute, we'll find out what you're mad as hell about.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing.
Okay.
But we've got a commercial coming up, and after that, Lucas is going to tell us what he's mad as hell about.
I'll try to.
Wow, am I thirsty? Whoa.
Are you really?
Yes.
I think you should come up to Oak Hills Brewing Company, home of the best brews in the high desert.
High desert? That's where I'm from.
Oh, do you know Floyd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His brother Lloyd. Yeah, I know him.
Say hello to Floyd. Founded by two entrepreneurs, these big dreams turned into Oak Hills Brewing Company. They have yummy brews, select ales, craft sodas, root beer, ginger ale, and cream soda for the kids.
How many?
How many kids?
How many
care.
brews?
I don't care how many kids come up.
Oh, okay.
They have 3 brews.
Okay.
for kids. Then they have 13 brews for adults.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it.
I'm glad. Oak Hills Brewing. Mondays, 5 to 9. Thursdays, 3 to 9. Friday, 1 to 10. And Saturday, 1 to 10. Oak Hills Brewing Company.
I'm going up right now.
Do you know how to get there?
Yeah, almost.
Okay, well, let me just make sure. 15 north to the 395, past 2 signals, turn right on Poplar, and you're there. OakHillsBrewing.com.
On my way.
Welcome back to Mad as Hell.
Yeah, you got to go up there sometime, Greg.
And
It's right over there by, you know where that truck stop is?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you just cut off there going towards Bishop.
Yeah, I know exactly.
It's not very far from there. It's only a couple of blocks.
It's not very far from here either.
Yeah.
And I found out with my medicine and being it's oral, I can have a little bit of beer.
Oh,
I can
good,
try
good.
it.
Well, we'll go up there.
Okay, good.
Okay, Lucas, what are you mad as hell about? Come on.
What am I mad at?
Yeah.
Well, I recently wrote a op-ed article in the Redlands Daily Facts because we had a new movie theater open up in town. I think it's got 16 screens. So
where's that located?
It's behind the Target in the Donut Hole, or formerly known as the Donut Hole area, over there behind Citrus Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
So there's now a total of 30 screens in the city of Redlands.
Wow.
And I did some research because I was curious about it. Of those 30 screens, only 2 are showing films that are independently distributed. And so I thought this is kind of uneven, considering where we're at in terms of proximity to the entertainment capital of the world.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think, for all intents, it's getting, a friend of mine actually does locations, and he says they're super busy now because of what their new mayor has done as far as just making it easier again for productions to happen there. So, so I was just really, I was mad. I was annoyed. It was like, there's 30 screens and I've got basically 30 screens of the same thing. So if you looked in the paper today, I guarantee it'd be the same thing. You're going to have, Krikorian's going to have the same lineup as the Harkins does. And so my request to these 2 big theater chains is give us a little bit more choice. There's tons of opportunity. There's tons of stuff out there.
Where do I have to go to see independent?
Well, right now you're going to have to either go to Claremont, has a Lemley Theater, so if you're in this area, that's closer than going to Pasadena.
Yeah.
Palm Springs, you have a lot more choice there as well. But again, we're a region that has Big Bear Film Festival, Riverside's International Film Festival's coming up. We've got, and Lloyd and I met because we're both into doing independent filmmaking. So, and then we've got schools here, universities, colleges that are teaching people how to do this. And I think the students would benefit from a greater selection of things to see. So as it stands now, I'll go to Pasadena, or just recently I'll go to Hollywood. And it seems like I think there's more opportunity now. I understand it if it's a small theater house and you want to fill the seats, and I get that, but I think there's got to be more done to show us
I agree.
more of the
When I
independence.
finish my independent film, I'd like to have it shown here locally.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, open up a screen a week for independents, especially if there's independent filmmakers here in the area.
They did that in Riverside for the 48-hour film festival.
Yeah.
They showed it over there.
Oh, don't get me started on that. If you want to know what I'm mad as hell about, we can get started on that one, because it just irks me to the bone as someone that's studied film for as long as I have, and the idea of that just irritates me. Make a movie in 48 hours. Stanley Kubrick is probably shrinking in his grave, understanding that, or Hitchcock. Oh, you're gonna do this in 48 hours? I mean, come on.
I did 3 of them, and they were fun. But,
they are fun, but don't propose to the world that this is real filmmaking at all in any way, shape, or form, because it's not. And I think it just cheapens the art form, because it's like some friends of mine that are painters and designers. Oh, make something in 48 hours. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not. I think they're promoting the wrong thing. And then I saw the judges at some of these. I was like, who are these people?
I saw the winners. Most of them are from Europe.
Yeah.
And that wasn't 48 hours. You know that they planned that. It's very professionally done.
The year I was involved in it, the one and only year that I was involved in it with some friends, I was obviously biased towards what we put together. But then I saw what won, and I was like, there's no way they did that in 48 hours. They had these huge Western sets and everything. It was like, you had this plan before you got there. Of course
they did.
You just made it fit and then that is the one that won. It was like, I know we actually did ours in 48 hours. So
Yeah.
And then they roll out the judges who I had it was like, so that was one of the things that actually got me wanting to start my own film fest, was that experience. I was like, I know people that have more clout, if you will, or more name recognition, or at least are still working in the industry relevant, that could judge and look at people's work here in the area more than that 48-hour thing does. And that 48 hours, I mean, those guys are making a killing in Florida.
Sure.
Every year on that shit. So, sorry.
Couldn't you, going back to what you were saying about getting your stuff viewed, couldn't you open oddball times for the theaters to open and actually use your, I'm sure you could put staff in there to run it.
Yeah, there's that. I know, well, in defense of the Krikorian, once a week they'll show some independent foreign films that raises money for a really good cause for arts endowment programs for local artists and educators in that area. So there is a way to do it. I just, when you get these big chains, I think the thing is there's a disconnect always with the people that actually live there. Okay. And come outreach to us and say, well, what could we add to this to make it because that's the other thing that cracks me up. It's a premiere going experience. I'm like, was it premiere because I'm paying $14 a ticket, or I'm like, what am I getting from my premiere experience here? Yeah. I'll tell you what. I went recently when Deadpool first opened. I went down the road a bit to Banning to their Fox Cineplex.
Oh yeah.
Gorgeous theater, old school Art Deco. They kept up some of the architecture in there. It was a matinee. I got my popcorn, my root beer, and my movie ticket for $11. And to me, that was more of a premiere movie experience than what I go to when I go to these bigger ones, Krikorian, Harkins, etc. Because I felt like they still cared about displaying the art. So,
okay, tell us about Slate.
Sure. Slate is nonprofit that I started in 2012. It's an acronym for supporting local artists of film through empowerment. And basically our premise is, and our mission is to support emerging artists, whether they're right out of film school or they're in high school or wherever they are, and help them make their visions kind of a reality. So coming up this year, we've got I think we got 4 or 5 events coming up this year. First one is we're partnering up with the Inland Empire Bicycle Alliance to do a bike film fest. So that's going to showcase short films that are centered around cycling. And then we have a youth film festival that is free for any student that is in K through 12 here in San Bernardino and Riverside County. That'll be June 24th, and that'll be in Redlands. And all this information's on the website too, which is slate-inc.org. And then we're going to do a BMX skateboard film fest in November. And then before that, we're starting what's called Beers and Film, or Film and Beers. How does
that work?
How this works this is great. This is really awesome. So we've got the space all lined up in downtown Redlands at the Masonic Lodge. They gave us a space for free. And so if you're a filmmaker, local filmmaker, you've got a short or whatever, and you want to screen it, you can go into our website and register and get it signed up. And basically we'll watch some films and we'll have some beer from some local breweries. On that first one, Ritual Brewing, who's hosted our last couple of film festivals, will be donating the beer for that event. So we're going to feature local films and local beer at the same time.
Oh.
And so people have an opportunity to talk about their projects. And so, yeah.
I'll have to go.
That's something our advertiser might want.
Right? Yeah. No, I would. Let's bring down some other.
I want to encourage people to call in.
Yes.
Our local number here at KCAA Radio is 1-909-888-5222.
And long distance is 1-888-909-1050.
And feel free to comment on anything that we've discussed today, or bring up something else
Any
that you're
ideas
mad
you
as
might
hell
have.
about. That's not. That should be pertinent to what we're talking about at the time, but it doesn't
Hopefully.
necessarily have to be.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But in the future of, you also teach over at the Art Institute?
I was starting a screenwriting class at the Art Institute next Saturday, as a matter of fact, which is why I had to get in here today.
Oh,
I was like, well, I better do that now.
Better do it now,
Yeah, I'll be
yeah.
teaching over there starting then, and then working on a documentary on the city of San Bernardino at this moment, too. So
any of you
staying busy.
historians out there from San Bernardino, have a lot of history about San Bernardino, contact Slate.
Yeah, you just general email if you want to, if you'd like to be interviewed for it, is info@slate-inc.org. Just send us a email message, say, hey, I'd love to be interviewed for it, and we'll come knocking on your door. So
Well, there's a lot of things that happened here that people aren't aware of.
Sure. Yeah.
And just, we had, Sammy Davis Jr., for instance, lost his eye up here.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He was at the San Bernardino Community Hospital.
In fact, he had a fundraiser where all kinds of stars come and actually seeded the building of this hospital.
Well, and it used to be September 11th was known for a good thing, because that was the Rolling Stones played their first American show in San Bernardino.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was a building that went down, I think a friend of mine knows this better, but it went down about 20 years to the date of 9/11. And it was where they had a lot of rock concerts. And so the Stones came, and then Zeppelin, and so there's definitely some history there.
I was
Sonny and Cher came and played in '66 at San Bernardino High School for this Dr. Pepper promotion. The group that was supposed to come was a precursor of the Beatles. I can't remember the name of them. And, Sonny and Cher took the spot. So
it's got a lot of history. It's way, way back.
Way back, yeah.
Lucy and Desi used to run the Arrowhead Springs Resort up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's got quite a history.
Oh,
by
yeah.
That
itself.
has a lot of history to it.
But
places like the Overlook Mansion and the Shining. The time I've driven up there, I thought Jack Nicholson was going to come chase after me.
Up there in
those motorcycle films of the '60s, they were all filmed here, all of them.
Yeah.
Up in the
and
mountains.
McDonald's was the first.
Sure.
Yeah, the first McDonald's.
The first McDonald's is
Del
here. Now it's
Taco,
a museum.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, so when I doing my research on this, and then I've just talked to some people, so it's interesting what's going on, and a lot of it got started after December 2nd, and then even prior to that, there was a LA Times article about the city, and that kind of made me mad as hell, I guess, because I live in Redlands, but I feel like we've got to care about what's going on in our county seat for the most part, and to see no response from political leaders in this town really to that article in August.
And the murderers lived in Redlands.
Yeah, right. Well, they were I think they're about 3 blocks from me, actually.
Yeah, and me too. I was
the Islamic
over
terrorist.
there.
I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah, well, neither am I, but it's just, but it's got a lot of history.
It does. It has a lot of history. Good history, too. So.
And I think what it's lacking right now is some vision.
Well, maybe you're that vision.
Well, if we can at least go, hey, what's going to happen here? And in film industry wise, why we haven't tried to attract some of those post-production type jobs that E Street could be flooded with just a row of companies doing that stuff. So
of course.
I think if we can help bring that out here, I think that'd be great, because there's no industry anymore. I think that's a big thing.
There's nothing.
So.
Well, we have to break for a commercial, but we were right back, and we'll talk about more about the film.
Okay.
So there we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda and 106.5 FM, K293CF Moreno Valley.
Money, money, money!
Most of us need extra money. Well, if you own something of value, go to Rich's Jewelry and Loan in Ontario. He'll loan you money on jewelry, musical instruments, tools, electronics, and almost anything of value. Or if you prefer, he'll purchase the item from you. And if you need a great buy in diamonds or a Rolex watch, Rich can save you hundreds of dollars. Don't waste time. Go to Rich's Jewelry and Loan, 124 West Holt Boulevard in Ontario. Give Rich a call, 986-2604, and tell him what you'd like to sell or bring in for a loan.
Loans!
Rich's Jewelry and Loan, 124 West Holt Boulevard, Ontario.
Once again, here's Lloyd and Greg.
What's the last thing you bought over at Rich's?
Last thing I bought at Rich's was diamond earrings for my wife.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they
good
were,
buys.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, they're
he's
great.
got some great stuff. If you need to hawk something, you got to go to Rich's in Ontario. You know, everybody's got to have a problem one day and say, hey, I need some cash.
Yeah.
But he's fair.
And plus, he sells his items really fair priced. I mean, if you want to buy engagement rings or whatever, boy, he's got good prices on all his jewelry. So.
Keep that in mind.
And we're going to get a good discount because of this.
Yeah, we are getting a discount because of this.
Okay, Lucas, what about the film making here in the Inland Empire? I know I'm getting involved in that, and we've got a lot of talent here, and but they haven't organized. And we got to bring them together to where we can utilize some of this talent.
It's been interesting to me, and I did the LA thing myself at some point, and the difference is like as competitive as it is out there, when you're coming up, you can there's a lot more collaboration and people wanting to work together just to get going. And what I noticed when I moved back out here, people are off in their little factions. They don't want to work together. And so I think there's some things going on now. Slate has been involved in. We have a monthly meet and greet. The last Tuesday of every month, we started this. Lloyd was there this past week, where it is about that. It's about developing those connections, and people have a chance to kind of pitch their projects and then find crew. Slate has a member component to it, and with that, basically, you can sign up to become a member, and by the end of this month, really, we'll have a database. We'll be able to have a member login, go in, upload your information about what you do for film and video production, and other members will be able to look at you. We're also going to invite companies to post jobs. At our meet and greet, we had Forest Homes that does a lot of youth activities, but they need videographers. So they were at that meet and greet. Hopefully they found some people to fill those spots. So I think it's about developing the core group that can help bridge those gaps. We want to start, hopefully soon, a development track with Slate. So you kind of pitch your project, feature-length script, or even if it's a pilot TV show concept, and we'll work with you through that process to get it from your starting level of a decent script to the best script it could be. And then hopefully with our membership and the events we're doing, we're trying to raise money for an endowment. So you can come to Slate down the road and go, I need some startup capital, or I'm in the middle of production and I lost money. Do you guys have something? Right. Or you're at the final stages and you need the funds. So we're offering things like that, as well as with the membership. It's only $25 a year, and that gets you, if you're interested in this stuff, free casting notices with Backstage, which is huge. You also get 20% discount at Redefined Camera Rental, which is huge. And I think a lot, too, is just the connections that we're going to help people make.
There's so many students out there that are creative.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have no place to show their creativity.
It's great. You're in film school and you're feeling loved and supported when you're in film school. And then you get out and you're like, oh, crap, what do I do now? And so I started Slate with the intent of giving those folks, and even those folks that are way past film school, the chance to
use it as a hobby today because they couldn't.
Right.
Well,
I think that's the thing too. Is like I would love to see. I mean, we're now at the age like when I was in school, we're just seeing the switch over from film to digital, and so I think more impressive now would be for film programs at colleges and universities to push the students to not just do a short, because that's a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
But could the students, as a group of students, put together a good feature?
Oh yeah,
You know, and really guide them through that process.
Are you teaching the whole thing when you teach? Are you teaching the beginning?
Right now,
I'm
I'm just teaching a screenwriting class, but through Slate, I've done workshops on directing as well. I actually this Wednesday at Augie's Coffee Shop in Redlands at 6:30, I'll be giving a talk on film direction. So, more than welcome to come out, get some coffee, and see me talk.
So you're hitting several subjects at times. You're going
through
different things, different aspects.
Yeah, and I was just trying to get into the academic side of it. So I'm working on a review of a book I just read about the first king of Hollywood, Douglas Fairbanks.
How's the interest? Are you getting a lot of interest? Little?
Yeah, we're getting blips here and there. The cool thing about having a 501c3 is I get to have interns, and we're able to. So if you're a student and you're interested in media, hit us up on the website, and we'll get you an internship. And actually, it'll be an internship where you're actually doing something and earning those class credits as opposed to just fetching coffee. So
yeah, that's Slate.
Inc.org, SLATE-INC.org. And all the information's on the website. You can check it out. You can sign up for your membership there. If you're a student, you get a discount on the membership because we really want to tap into the youth market. So,
what are your goals privately? Are you going to develop any full-length feature?
I've got there's a couple features I wrote. I just finished my MFA in screenwriting last May. So there's a couple features I wrote. I'm working on a new one. I'm rewriting a TV pilot I did. It'd be perfect for HBO or Showtime or Netflix. It's got the feel of a True Detective kind of a thing. So I'm doing a rewrite on that.
I've got one I want. I did a sitcom, but
right,
it's very good.
NBC was interested in it at one time, but then they didn't option it, and I had an in at NBC because I knew the president of NBC West at the time, and then she left to become CEO of Lifetime Network. So I lost that contact, but she got me into the comedy development thing, and they liked my concept of this Hispanic sitcom. Yeah. But then she left, the vice president of comedy development, and I was left without anybody. And I said, I contacted them again after 60 days, and they said, we don't know anything about it, and we can't find it. So have your literary agent contact us. And I said, I never had one. They said, oh, that's impossible. You couldn't do that. I said, no, I knew somebody here. I said, the president of NBC West. Yeah. So
this is where
they dropped
might
it,
come in.
And I decided that, they weren't going to option it, so I rewrote it as a full-length feature.
Yeah.
And I figured, like MASH, it was a full-length feature first, and then it became a sitcom. So
sure, I think, I'm part of the class I'll be teaching is to help the students develop their screenplays, and so, but I'm going to give them an option, either do a feature treatment or walk out of there with a full web series, because I think that's really the future of short films. Is do a web series, do something that shows that you can do several, not just 1 10-minute and you're out kind of a thing, but if you can do a series of 30 to 40 minutes of product, and then you can start pitching that. It's like, look, I can do this whole thing. It shows a workflow. So I think that's what's missing. And so I think now you could, if you take the time, and that's what we want to do too, is like, it's more than just getting your camera, shooting something, cutting it together and saying, well, I made a film. Well, are you doing it not necessarily the right way, but are you giving yourself the chance to put a shine on it? So we're interested in helping those folks that really have a good story make sure they can produce quality work.
Yeah, but people come back and they say, what happened with Clerks?
Oh, yeah.
How much did they spend?
Right. Well, they spent the majority of that budget was on the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
I think they spent $7,000 to make it. That was
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
on
that's
black
right.
and white film. There's no camera movement in that at all. It's all cuts. But when they went to do the final print or final cut, they had this soundtrack, and I think they through the Weinstein Company, they were able to cover the $10,000 for the soundtrack.
Yeah, but that was made on a shoestring.
Yeah, it was made on
2 locations, and
it was brilliant.
Silent Bob.
It was brilliant because, well, and then the story Kevin Smith had about it was he saw, it was another movie he saw, and he's like, all the guy's doing is having Richard Linklater's first film, and he said all the guy's doing is just having people talk. He's like, I can do that and film it.
Yeah,
and that was,
so he did it.
That's what he did. Yeah, and so he
So that's one success.
financed it on his credit card and became a darling of Sundance. But now Sundance and some of those bigger film festivals, even the Palm Springs now, is like second in the nation. What happens is and through no fault of anything, but Hollywood will not fund those mid-range films anymore. It's either zero or $100 million, $200 million films because they're guaranteed a certain profit back. So a lot of actors will use Sundance to get their real projects done. So to speak.
Yeah.
And so it's pushing out the folks that want to just get noticed somehow. So one of the things Slate wants to do down the road is develop projects here and then set up a marketplace. So old school marketplace is how it was done.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so folks,
So that those people have a chance.
and invite the right people, distributors, managers, agents to those screenings. And so if they see anything, things can happen. We had last year, Slate had an event at the Art Institute. A friend of mine that does distribution for Sony came out and just kind of shared that half of the process with our folks. But what I was amazed to hear, but not really, is it is still all about story. It doesn't matter. It's if there's good story, then people will flock to it.
Okay.
If you're interested, Kevin Spacey gave a great speech on that's on YouTube in England about his story with House of Cards. And he went, like you were saying with the pilot, they went to every network, and every network wanted the same thing. Well, we'll order a pilot. It's like, I'm not interested in doing that. Netflix was the only one that said we'll pay for the whole thing for the first season. And because the idea of network, I think, is gone. What we kind of knew of it, and so if you can produce your own thing, and then find a way to get it distributed, then you control your art a lot more. And I think that's exciting for media artists, film, television people now more than ever. Is like you get to really control this. It's just a matter of putting a good shine on it and making sure that it's seen as legitimate. But I think you can bust through the wall, so to speak.
So
if you have great story, it goes back to story all the time for me.
But Slate could bust through the wall and create this. Product.
What we want to really help is that person that's really close to something and just needs some fine tuning. We've got a wonderful advisory board made up of some wonderful artists that have been making a living in it. One of them
know how to get there, huh?
Right. Well, and one of them is a former professor of mine, but still is Bob Engels, who wrote with David Lynch quite a bit.
Okay.
So Bob's one of those guys that's interested in helping people get going. So we've got some names kind of attached to it that are there to really help guide the folks out there that want to get going.
Sure.
So.
Well, I'm a writer, but I just every time I look at one of my scripts, I got to change it. And this one guy, he changed it 27 times before he presented it to a producer, and finally they produced it. But
I'd believe
every time that I look at something, I said, "This could be done better. That could be shorter."
Yeah.
I don't need that.
It's constant.
Cut.
One of my favorite films this past year was Trumbo, the one with Bryan Cranston played Dalton Trumbo. And if you know anything, he was one of those guys that got blacklisted and all that. But just to see the process that Dalton was going through, like cutting up the scripts and pasting and redoing things, it was quite a wonderful thing. But I mean,
But even as I have it critiqued, there, some people like this, other people don't. So here again, the same thing as movies. Some people hate them, but other people love them. So there's no way of really knowing what works.
Last night we went to go see Zootopia, the new Pixar.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful film. But it hits all of the beats appropriately in a script. And, it says a lot. Disney's been able to master that structure and do it really well.
We got a commercial. We'll be right back.
Is it that time your car needs a smog check? Well, check out Quick Smog Check in Montclair. They guarantee your vehicle will pass or you pay not a thing. That's right. If it doesn't pass the test, what the heck? You don't have to pay. So what's the reason why you're not calling them? The number 909-626-5436. You can also drive right down there now. 5438 Holt Boulevard in Montclair. They're open 9 to 5, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Do it now. No wait smog checks at Quick Smog Check in Montclair. 909-626-5436.
Thanks for waiting. Lloyd and Greg are back.
Yeah, we're back. And we're talking to Lucas Cooney, and what about these film festivals? I've heard a lot of things that say they're nothing but a money grab for a lot of, and I imagine some of them are. It's a one way of making money, and you submit your $45 to $65 or whatever, and they're going up in price, and they say if you get in early, you can do it for this and that. But I mean, I've known a lot of guys that submitted to film festivals and never even got another word saying, well, you were this or that. I think they should send out something.
I know.
We
did Slate for the last 2 years has done the Redlands Film and Beer Festival, and because we're an upstart, I know from my experience and being on that side of it too, and like submitting and you never hear anything. So we at least came. I mean, and I think all it takes is a little automated message. So we at least came up with that to say, here's where you're at. The final submissions will be
that's
listed
good
at some point. So yeah, it's just big on the communication of it. I think for us, I think sometimes it's funny who made this last film festival, and we had we had scores that I had trust me, I had nothing to do with who was in the film festival. So we had individual scores, and then a member of our team who runs a media production company called Gato Feliz Media in Redlands helped do the management. But you get to a point where if you're limited on space, time, and hours, where there's a cut that's just got to get dropped because you only have so much. And then it's a matter of making a selection based on who's going to, because not all of ours that played in this last year were part of the official selection process.
Well, I think part of that,
just giving people screening, I think, is huge.
It's very good for that purpose.
And so that's why we're going to this quarterly films and beer event, because it at least lets people have a chance to have their stuff seen in front of an audience, take some Q&A, maybe get some feedback on it before.
Do you have media reporting on this too? Or you're it?
I'm it. Well, I mean,
you're the film critic for
the Daily Fact. So hopefully, maybe it'll start weeding into LA's, Los Angeles. Was it the news?
How good is some of the stuff you're getting? Is it real good stuff? Mediocre?
Last year, you can go to our YouTube channel and see some of our past submissions. They're up there, and we're loading that up more and more as we speak. Had some really good things.
I know Lloyd has some really good stuff, And
last year, the audience favorite was this movie called I Am Esteban. That's on our YouTube channel. It was actually done by a student at Cal State San Bernardino. His name is Giacomo. It's a wonderful little short film. So that was a really good one. We had
how short?
I think it was less than 20 minutes. So it was in that ballpark. And it'd be my other tidbit to people is don't go over 20 minutes on a short film.
20 is the longest.
It's just well, you could go technically to 59 minutes and it's still considered
short.
Technically as short, but you just lose an audience after a certain point with a short film. A short film should almost be like a joke. You've got your setup and you have your punchline, and then you're kind of in and out of there. You always want to have a nice twist at the end of it that an audience wasn't expecting.
Unless it's porn, then they probably watch it.
Yeah, watch it for.
Well, they're watching it for about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think for shorts, you want to keep it short. Essentially, I mean, short films started off. I mean, basically, that's how the industry started. Was what they called the one reel. It was a 10-minute.
That's right.
Because film is about a thing of film is 1,000 feet of it's 10 minutes of length. So you'd have your 10 minutes. Douglas Fairbanks, who I talked about earlier, read a biography on him. Then they start doing the 2 reels, and that was 20 minutes. And then you'd still in front of the main feature. You'd go in, you'd see your 1 reel. Short film, and then the feature would come on. So I think to keep it within 10 to 20 minutes is a good amount.
I've got a question for you. A friend of mine has a 35 millimeter old one, but he can't find anywhere to view it.
He's got the
He's got the film.
He's got the film, but no projection system.
Is there any place around it?
I would hit up like Photocam to see if they've got hands on old projectors. They're in LA. Mole Richardson, who's one of our sponsors for the Youth Film
see
Fest.
What's on the film.
Right. Those are places I'm thinking like Photocam's got screening rooms, and they're in Burbank. That could be a place to at least start.
I'll put that down.
Yeah, they're the last place where film is getting processed. Amazing place.
This is made in the 20s. So it's pretty brittle.
Late
20s, maybe early 30s.
I hope he's keeping it cool.
Yeah,
it'll catch fire.
That's true.
It's interesting. I took a group.
Nitrate film.
I took a group of students to Photocam a couple years ago on a field trip from Cal State San Bernardino, and the big thing because they've lost about 75% of their film processing accounts basically because of digital. So they're now going into the big studios are emptying out their vaults and having Photocam restore the prints.
Yeah.
So they're pulling out these nitrate prints and reshooting them basically in more stable film. Because that's the weird thing is like even though everything's on digital, that film is a real true hard copy of it.
True.
Because everywhere else it could get lost.
There's your negative.
Yeah, it's like there it is. That's set in stone. So studios are now paying Photocam to basically make sure our stuff sticks around for another.
And it catches on fire quite easily.
That nitrate, yeah.
Gotta be real careful, huh?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to work in a theater, and projection booth upstairs. And he was running the old film, and sometimes it'd catch on fire.
Yeah, it's scary. You had to keep it at a certain. Where I went to film school was Panavision's first headquarters in the Valley, and so our theater room was the theater room where they used to show all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was quite an interesting building to say the least.
So what about today's film? What do you think about it, just overall? And they're redoing a lot of things that have done
the remakes.
Yeah,
I
some
think,
make money, some don't. But
I think the big thing is, and maybe I touched on it in my article a bit, is there used to be a sense the studios would they'd push things and they'd make them breathe and give audiences a little bit more selection. And I think recently they've just gotten afraid to take chances on things. There's still good things. There's still great things out there. They're just not getting backed enough by the studios because they're afraid they're not going to make any money. And then the theater chains, you've got these huge chains that are reliant on filling seats to make money because they don't make money off the films. They make money off the concessions.
Right.
So they're relying on people filling the seats. You get studios that are afraid to make choices or take chances the way they used to. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't think The Godfather would get made today.
No.
The way things are. I mean, I don't know how they would support a movie like that. You're going to put a no-name actor in here then you got Brando, who at the time was like murder to people.
Yeah.
It took somebody at that studio to really support it.
I think I know.
We're losing. The studios are losing execs that have an understanding of film and cinema.
You don't think the mafia had something to do with it?
Maybe they promoted.
Hey, you're gonna show this film.
I
right
doubt
here.
that because it wasn't a real positive look at the mafia. So, but I mean, I don't know if that could get made today. And
No, but that's what I like about Netflix. I find films on there that are really great.
Yeah,
but I never saw them in the theaters.
Yeah, no, I mean, so there's a good and bad. So you're not seeing a wide selection in the theaters, but you're right. You can go on Netflix, video on demand, Amazon, and find wonderful stories there. They're just not getting the theater treatment. For me, I think there's something to be said about that shared audience experience. And so I think every film deserves that, whether small, big, medium, whatever, to have at least their chance in the sun, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the avenues to at least get your stuff seen has
I'm sitting there at home at my computer laughing like crazy.
Yeah.
I could be in a theater.
Right.
And everybody laughing.
Yeah.
But not necessarily.
But not necessarily.
What I think is funny may not be your.
Right. So, but there's still that great, like, when you sit in a comedy and everyone's laughing, you feel that.
Sure.
And you're vibing off of that. So
Is the cost still real prohibitive, real high?
To make?
To make a good film.
No, I think I think that's what the digital era has set up, is that it isn't prohibitive. To put it in perspective, when I graduated with my undergrad in 2002, we shot our final senior year project on Super 16 millimeter.
Okay.
That cost us, I think, just for the film negative, and we had, I think, about 6,000 feet of film we shot, about $6,000 just for the negative.
Just for the negative, okay.
That's not counting the 8.5 cents a foot at the time to process.
Okay.
So now you've got that on top of it. Oh, and then we have to what's called telecine, which is transferring it to a digital format so we can go edit it on Final Cut. And that was another $100 an hour. So it was 2 hours sitting in a studio in Santa Monica. So that's just the film, dealing with the film part of it.
Okay.
Dealing with unions is what's very expensive.
Yeah, I bet. Yes.
Right. Well, and so
you got to have a specialization for this, and this, and wow.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about this area too, is we're 60 miles outside the zone.
Yeah.
So anything that's below the line, that's not actors, they could save huge money on production costs out here.
The actors are the big cost mainly?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
their union's the best one.
Sure. They got the best negotiators.
SAG-AFTRA is like, they're not giving you a deal anywhere if they could fight for it. So they've got a really good union.
Well, we're about ready to wrap this up, Lucas. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Lloyd.
Thank you, Lucas.
Hey, it's
Appreciate
invite
your
you
good
back
information.
anytime.
Yeah.
And remember that Slate.
Come call,
Slate-inc.org. For more information, check out the website. Facebook, Slate Inc., Twitter, Slate Inc., Instagram, Slate Inc.
Slate Inc., huh?
Slate Inc. everywhere. So, check us out. YouTube channel's the same thing. So.
And I remind the people that we're going to Spreaker. We'll be on Spreaker.
Yeah, that's right. Spreaker's our new concept,
so you people that, go to the internet and just put in www.spreaker, SPREAKER.com, and you're going to find Kcaa Radio. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Until next week.
Anything next week? You have anything next week? Or
I promise you'll have. I'm working on it.
I'm working too, so.
Until next week, stay mad as hell.
Yeah. Call us and tell us something you're mad as hell.
Or go to a yoga class and calm down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he wants to end it. Call us.
Well, it filters through. So lay down.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
We got basketball, pro and college. Kate Delaney, NBC Sports Radio. So how about the Warriors? We're all watching to see if they're going to beat that Bulls record of 72 wins in the season. They did it 95-96. Who got in their way? That would be the Celts, beating them Friday night 109.